you'll realize that is hundreds of thousands of dollars cheaper than a lot of other cities here in Colorado, and that's why is going on. My name is Mitch.
And my name is Scott.
And we're your favorite redheaded realtors. Welcome back to the Moving Denver YouTube channel. Today's video, we're going to be discussing the pros and the cons of calling Brighton, Colorado home. So stay tuned. And hey, real quick before we get too far into today's video, we sincerely appreciate every single one of you that takes time out of your day to watch our videos. I know we have a blast making them for you. Now, if you wouldn't mind doing us a quick favor and hitting that subscribe button and dropping a like on today's video if you find it informational at all. And if you do still have questions about anything that we discuss in this video about the Colorado real estate market or Brighton more specifically, we would love the opportunity to help you out. Feel free, give us a call or text at the number that you see on the screen. And like I said, we'll be happy to help you out in any way that we can. Now, let's dive into the video, pros and cons of living in Brighton. All right, now we have covered Brighton a lot on this channel, but we've not made a specific pros and cons video for Brighton, Colorado. So, kicking us off with pro number one about living in Brighton, Colorado is the affordable housing options. Now, we've talked a lot in some of those other videos about like the average and the median cost for a single family residence in Colorado, and when comparing to some of the other videos and cities that we've talked about, Brighton does offer generally more affordable housing options than Denver or the rest of the metro area. Now, there are tons of different housing options available in Brighton. You've got townhomes, you have single family residences, you have apartments, you have condos, you have just about anything that you could be looking for. Now, the average cost for a single family residence in Brighton, based off of most recent sales data that we have, is $587,930, and the median cost for a single family residence in Brighton is $540,000. Now, depending on where you're from, those numbers could sound extremely high, but when you compare it to the rest of the Denver metro area, and Denver more specifically, you'll realize that is hundreds of thousands of dollars cheaper than a lot of other cities here in Colorado, and that's why housing affordability is pro number one.
Next on our list is the community feel of Brighton. Brighton started as a very small farming community way back in the late 1800s and has grown really recently over the past few years to a much larger town. Now with this, you have communities and you have residents within Brighton that have lived here for most of their lives, and in some instances it's multi-generational, where you have very tight-knit families who've been here for 3 or 4 generations. This provides a very close-knit feel to the community, as well as a real sense of ownership, of, kind of pride of ownership of the town. Now, to help with this, the city also hosts festivals and community events to help pull this community together, which again gives it a very family-oriented, very tight-knit feel overall when you live in Brighton.
Now, pro number 3 is all of the outdoor recreation that is available in Brighton. Now, as we've mentioned in some of our other Brighton videos, Brighton is home to Bar Lake State Park. Bar Lake State Park is an extremely popular destination for those of you that enjoy boating, bird watching, hiking. And at Bar Lake State Park, they even have equestrian trails, an archery range, and a bunch of other stuff to really get out and enjoy the outdoor space. Now, not only does Brighton have Bar Lake State Park, but all of these neighborhoods have their own park systems, and of course, Brighton has its own system of city parks. Now, as a whole, the city of Brighton has almost 1,100 acres of maintained outdoor park space, 48 miles of paved and soft surface walking, biking, hiking trails, 20 athletic fields, 2 pools, a city recreation center, an adult recreation center, and 27 playgrounds. Now, you'll notice that I said city rec center there, and that's because a lot of some of the newer developments in Brighton, and I think Brighton Crossing comes to mind, as providing its own recreational and athletic facilities for residents of the neighborhood. So on top of all of the city maintained areas, depending on where you live in Brighton, you're actually gonna have some extra outdoor space and athletic facilities that you'll get to enjoy when you live in Brighton.
Next on our list, Brighton has been able to maintain its small town charm despite its fact that it's closer to much larger cities. Now, like I said earlier, Brighton started as a small rural farming community back in the late 1800s, and it has grown extensively over the past, I would say, about 10 years, where the feel of the town has definitely changed from one side to the other. For instance, the old downtown area where you have your local shops, local restaurants, and local boutiques provides a very quaint and kind of unique experience to visit. It's maintained that old flavor. Now, the further west you go in Brighton, get to the newer developments. You get up along the highway of I-76, and there's a lot of newer modern stores in that area. They're more retail, more chain restaurants. So you kind of get the full gamut in Brighton. Overall, though, the town is very well maintained its unique sense of flavor throughout the years in the course of its development.
All right, now pro number 5 of living in Brighton is the access to amenities. There is absolutely no shortage of amenities within Brighton. You have grocery stores, shopping centers, healthcare campuses, and a ton of different educational facilities all within Brighton. So when you move to Brighton, everything that you could possibly need for your day-to-day life is accessible and easy to get to without having to leave city limits. Prairie Center Shopping Center is a huge outdoor kind of pedestrian style shopping center that is continuing to grow, and new businesses are moving in every single month. Additionally, Brighton is home to Platte Valley Medical Center, a very large hospital and medical campus, and Brighton is home to a Front Range Community College campus, so you can even pursue higher education while living in Brighton. All right, now let's take a dive into the cons of living in Brighton. Now, con number 1 is the commuting distance to and from Brighton, Colorado. Depending on your job or your desired location that you want to drive to, you may end up spending a pretty decent chunk of time on the road. Now, while the distance to Denver could be a positive thing, that same very positive could also mean you're going to be dealing with congestion and traffic during peak hours on the roadways. Now, Brighton sits about 25 to 30 minutes northeast of Denver in downtown Denver, which, like I just said, could be a good thing, but it is all highway, so you can expect some rush hour traffic to and from the big city and Brighton.
Now, Brighton's entertainment scene may be considered a bit limiting depending on what you're looking for. While the city does host many events throughout the year, if you're looking for more cultural or more of a nightlife scene, you may want to consider traveling to nearby communities to seek those out.
All right, now con number 3, we have weather extremes. Now, like most of Colorado, Brighton can experience some pretty drastic swings in temperature and pretty dramatic weather throughout the year. A lot of times winter is often very cold and very snowy, and summertime is often very hot and very dry. Just to put it into some perspective, this year specifically in this summer, we have had a ton of rain, which is outside of the norm. Typically it's relatively dry here, but because of that, we are seeing temperature swings upwards of 30 to 40 degrees from the time you wake up to the middle of the afternoon. Like just yesterday morning, it was in the 50s around 6:30 when I woke up, and by midday it was 95 degrees. So you can expect some extreme temperatures and extreme swings in weather, both directions up and down. So be prepared for that. Now, because of that, Brighton also may not be the best spot to land if you are somebody that prefers a much more moderate climate.
Brighton's job market may not be as diverse as some larger cities. Now, depending on what industry you work in, there are plenty of job opportunities in and around Brighton. However, depending on the industry, you may want to consider that you will have to commute as many people that live in the Brighton area do. Now, if you're a work from home type person, techie, or you have a customer service role where most of your work is on the phone, broadband internet is available within the city of Brighton and in the surrounding areas in one form or another. So that is also something to consider.
Alrighty, now con number 5 of living in Brighton is the limited public transportation that's available. Because of where it's geographically located and how the city is spread out, Brighton is very, very car dependent. There is not a lot of public transportation available. You'll have your bus routes that take you from one side of the city to the others, but they don't connect with any other bigger routes, and there's no direct line to, say, downtown Denver, and there is no light rail system in Brighton as of yet. So this may be a challenge or take some adjusting if you are moving to Brighton from a densely populated urban area where you can jump on a bus or jump on a light rail and get to wherever you need to go. Now, if you do want to jump on a light rail and go to Denver, it's totally doable. You can just jump on over at the Thornton station. That's only about a 20-minute drive from most parts of Brighton. So it's not far. However, you're already in the car, so most people just end up driving to where they need to go. Alrighty, you guys, that was our list of 5 pros and 5 cons of calling Brighton, Colorado home. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Do us a quick favor, if you found it informational or helpful at all, hit that subscribe button, drop a like for us. It really helps us out a ton and lets us know what you guys like watching and would like to see next. And as a reminder, if you do have any questions about this city that we talked about, or more specific questions about the real estate market here in Colorado and in Brighton, Colorado, we would love the opportunity to help. Feel free, give us a call or text at the number that you see on the screen, and we'll be happy to help you out in any way that we can. Once again, my name is Mitch.
I'm Scott.
We're your favorite redheaded realtors, and we'll see you guys in the next one.